It is very common to see that after a breakup, things get a little bit ugly, or a lot ugly. You find your ex being very cruel with you. And it's very hard because that's a person that you loved and they loved you back. And now they are a different person. This is what we're going to cover today. I'm going to explain you a little bit about what's going on in their mind at the moment and why it doesn't mean that it's over. It doesn't mean that you have no chance to get back with him or her. It just means that they're expressing something, and I'm going to help you to decrypt that message. Before I do, as you know, you can subscribe to the channel. We are a growing community and I love it. You can comment. I answer all the comments and you can call me. It's new. If you want to have a chat with me, I have 15-minute call in my diary where I help people and connect with the community and help you basically solve your problem. Sometimes, just one sentence can change everything. And last but not least, there's also the quiz to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. I left the link in the first comment of the video. So the first thing is there's an ambivalence at the time of the rupture. Jung, the psychologist, came up with that idea, that concept of shadow personality. And we all have shadow personalities. There's one part that hates you. That's the shadow personality, the dark side. If Star Wars, you have the dark side, exactly the same. The other part loves you. However, when there's a breakup, usually that's the shadow part that would express itself. And the thing is, you're going to try to always argue and communicate with the other part, the non-shadow part, the bright side, and this is where it gets really, really frustrating because you are talking different languages. Their shadow personality is talking, their shadow personality is now in charge, and you're talking with the other part of their brain. And so that's why there's miscommunication. And this is why sometimes we feel we don't recognize the other because it's not the other, it's the shadow personality. So we'll look into more detail of what you should be doing in those cases. So first, words do not heal. Again, this is very emotional. So at this stage, a lot of people, they want to counter-argue with the people who decided to break up. So let's say, you're lazy or you don't clean after, after you take your shower or whatever. And then you'll come up with, no, okay, I'll clean, I'll hire a cleaner. You come up with arguments, but it doesn't work because at this stage, you're fighting with logic against emotions. And this is not exactly what would work. They have thought about this breakup for months. And it's not just with one sentence that is going to change the situation. They are convinced already. So don't try to argue, and we'll see why it's actually worse to argue in those situations. Why are they so cruel? The more you argue, the more they shut down and feel misunderstood. This breakup is a way to send a message to you. They want to be alone. They want to be free. There was some tension, there was something that made that situation impossible, that relationship impossible at this moment in time. They want to release that and be alone. The more you argue, the more you push them, the more they'll have the impression that you don't understand them. And the more you do that, you're going to kick in their ego, and the more they'll be violent. And it's like an insult because they are telling you something you don't understand and you do it again and again and again. And therefore, you're going to trigger that vicious cycle of that shadow personality taking the lead and being meaner and meaner and meaner. Okay? And it takes time. That's the bad news. The good news, it's temporary. They are not gone in a snap. Some people think, oh, she decided to break up with me because of that. And, out of nowhere. No, there's always a reason and it's built for months and months. Therefore, they won't come back in a second if they didn't decide to break up in a second. If they are cruel, the best response is to walk away. As we saw, the more you push back in that situation, the worse it gets. So the best reaction for you is to show that you're strong, and if they're cruel, you walk away. You don't have to interact with them. The thing is, Think of it as a wounded animal. If you see a dog that's wounded and that's hurt and you want to take care of him, what he's going to do is going to bite. Not because he wants to eat you or is dangerous, it's just because he's scared. It is exactly the same in that case. So try to leave them some space. Actually, not try. Leave them some space. Don't try to do it. They want to make you hate the relationship. So the more you're going to push, the more nasty it will become. And you might be in a situation where you're wondering, like, why is that person so cruel? We've been dating for 6 years and now she's really mean, really nasty. What have I done? What you've done is nothing. It's just you didn't understand the message. Walk away, go in a radio silence. Yes, I've done it. I waited 5 minutes before I said that word, but it's so important, especially in that time. Insult, everything nasty would come with time, would be eased with time. Don't take anything. Don't keep a journal of what has been said. It doesn't matter. Thing will sort of ease with time. Don't try to change it right away. Again, big mistake. Usually, as we discuss, we get locked into that counter argument. But they need time. They need time. Even if it's annoying, and I know it's annoying, I know you want to be back with that person as quickly as possible, but you have to respect that time. The more complicated you make the separation, the longer it would take to win you back. So the more you're, spamming them, checking on with them, telling them that you miss them, telling them that you're sad, the more complicated you make them, you make the situation for them to come back with you. And the thing is, they would be afraid to come back and they would be afraid to hurt you. Because that's also the reason sometimes people don't get back with their ex, don't make that first move, is that they're scared that they would hurt them. So they decided to break up with you, they realize that actually they made the mistake, but they're scared because they think that actually if I get back with him or her, I can hurt them, especially with what I said. So if you de-escalate all those arguments, leave them some space to understand the situation, to calm their nerves, to shut down that shadow personality, it will really help. It is the only way you can get them to be back with you. Radio silence, erase the negative parts. I mentioned that, tons of studies about that. Our brain are hardwired to forget bad memories. If you think of any moment in your life when you broke your arm, when you had a car accident and things like that, when you look at that, it was not as bad as when it happened on the day. I broke my arm when I was a kid. When I think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I went to the hospital and broke my arm. It doesn't really matter. On the day, I swear, it hurts. But now, that feeling is different. That feeling is more distant. It's going to be the same in your relationship. And they would think about contacting you again. If you do that radio silence, they will think about contacting you again. If you don't do the radio silence, what's going to happen? We're going to continue that vicious circle. They be cruel. You'll be mad because they are cruel and you love them. You'll feel that they don't understand you because you're not talking the same language. Let them be quiet for a moment. Get those emotions. Let this hidden, that shadow personality to move away, to move back, way behind, and get their new personality. Key takeaways. If they act so mean, it's because they just want you to be alone. That's it. So nastiness, the reason they are so mean is just to keep you away. Don't try to negotiate. They are desperate. Wounded animal, keep that image in your mind. They feel guilty. Taking a step backwards will draw them back. Radio silence, getting back on equal terms. This is what's going to create. Any questions on that? If you feel your ex was so cruel, maybe I hope that helped. Take care of yourself.